Today we're going to discuss about finding your target market. Every business needs to find out its target market, but before doing so, you also need to look at your own business and determine what makes you different. There's a term, differentiation, and this is where your unique value, where you identify your unique value that makes you different from other industry segment competitors. Once you understand this will help you in determining and then finding your target market. Let's go through some terms. We have target market, which is the market that you want to promote and sell your products and services to. We have market segmentation, which is the process of dividing heterogeneous groups into homogeneous groups with relatively similar product needs. And lastly, we have the niche market. And this involves targeting a very specific, very well-defined segment of the market. Sometimes when you have a niche market, it's quite easy to develop promotions for them because you'll understand the psychographics, the demographics, what they're looking for in regards to benefits and sometimes features. Let's look at mass marketing. Mass marketing is called undifferentiated marketing. So it's going out to the crowd where we don't see that there's any difference between the people, especially for the products. So if we look here, we got a woman who's busting to go to the loo. We got a man doing the same thing. And I'm sure that both of them hope to know that there's toilet paper on the other side of the door. So toilet paper is something that everybody uses, and we don't necessarily need to market it any differently to a man or to a woman. Now, that doesn't say that we haven't seen ads out there that may target to females, mainly because they're usually doing the purchasing in the household. Second type of marketing is differentiated marketing, or the differentiated target market. And this is where we're identifying various segments that have commonalities between them. When we identify this, then we have a better understanding of how to actually market to them. Then the third one is concentrated marketing, or the concentrated market. And this is where we have that defined market that we know if they are a man. In this case, I'm using the caveman things, that they have a need for a wheel, then we know exactly how to market to that class. So that could also be in this concentrated marketing, similar to the niche marketing that we discussed earlier. There are various steps in selecting target market. The first one is to identify your objectives. What are the objectives of your company? Who are you trying to reach? Why are you even in business? After you identify the objectives, you determine who you think you want to market to, then collect and analyze the data on a particular city. So for example, if you want to market in Brisbane or in Sydney, then you'd want to get usually you can get like census data, demographic data of those areas, and then you can start to narrow down to make sure that you have a population big enough to market to. Once you get that data and you analyze it, then you can identify the segment. So if you're in a smaller town that say might only have 85 to 100,000 people, you're going to have a different data set, different numbers than you would being in a city such as say Austin, Texas, which has about 1.5 million people in it. So you need to make sure that you can access that data and then see if there's different segments which you can also target. And once you start identifying that segment, then you can develop your target market or target markets. So you might determine that there seems to be 3 different substantial markets that you would like to target and promote to. When you have that, you need to then identify what promotional material that you'll send and also the language. So I'll give you an example. The organization that I am affiliated with here on the Gold Coast, we had an event that would cater to the technical people in IT, and it was also very interesting information for small business. And the topic matter was cybersecurity. So we had those 2 markets to target, and what we actually did wrong, what I did wrong, was we used the same copy for marketing to not only the small business people, but also the tech people. And when we evaluated the outcome, we still did pretty good with numbers. We had more tech people there than small business people there. So in the future, anytime we do an event on a topic that is useful for tech people as well as business people, we've already stated that we have to have two different types of copy that go to the various constituents. So the message would resonate with them for them to identify that they really needed to attend that event. Here's some criteria to identifying a target market, making sure the right one for you. First off, is it measurable? So is there data available that you can actually measure the size of the market? Many businesses just go, oh, look, I'm in a pretty big city. I know that I can, send it out and people will come. If you don't know the makeup of that city or that town that you're in, you may not really know the size of the market. The second thing is to look at, well, is that target market large enough for you and also your competitors? You might go, yep, there's a target market for me. But if you have a lot of competitors in that space focusing on the same market, you may realize that it's going to be quite challenging to break through your competitors, especially if they've been around for quite some time. Third thing is to look at, is that market reachable? So can you actually reach the market that you want to through various marketing activities? And that looks at, well, the market that you want to reach, how do they want to be connected? Is it through the internet? Is it through TV, radio, print, letterbox drops? So you have to look at, are they reachable? And then the last one is, are they responsive? So now that you have all measurable, they're large enough, it's reachable, but now you have to question is, will they actually respond? Meaning, will they purchase what you are trying to offer them? There's a number of bases for segmentation. So the first basis, the first and second basis, and sometimes you've seen them grouped into one, is the geographic and the demographics. So first off, you want to identify, well, where are we going to hold this thing and, or promote our product, and what are the demographics? And when we talk about demographics, we're looking at the age, the income, the gender, and the ethnicity. What are the psychographics? So in psychographics, we're looking at what's the consumer's state of mind. Are they outer-directed? Are they inner-directed? Are they needs-driven? Or are they combined? So outer-directed is, and this is pretty much 2/3 of the population around the world, that they live under the direction of what others think. So they're less apt to be committed to activity and more apt to be committed to the spectator status. So it's really that being influenced by what other people think is the outer-directed. The inner-directed, these are people who satisfy their inner needs rather than other people's expectation. You might have the need-driven, and these are people who are driven by more basic needs and get little satisfaction out of work and non-work activities. And then you might have the combined, and this is more integrated. So these people are mature, they're tolerant, more understanding, and they're able to see the big picture. Product usage. So here we're looking at usage frequency, usage function, and usage situation. So in the usage frequency, this refers to how often the product is used, irregardless of the product functions that are used or the different applications for which the product is used. Our usage function refers to what extent the product features or functions are utilized by the customer, regardless of how the product is used. And then lastly, the usage situation refers to the different applications for which a product is used and the different situations in which a product is used. And then lastly, basis for product segmentation are the product benefits. So looking at what are the reasons the customers buy the product or service. So in summary, it's important to identify the target market you want to promote to. You need to consider if it's worthwhile segmenting your market. And by doing this, you will then have a clear idea of who you want to target, which will impact the promotional activities that you'll want to do in the future. Hopefully you've gotten some information on how to identify your target market, and this will help you move forward in developing your promotional activities.